Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a tutorial on this look right here. You guys know how much I love these warm bronzy looks. So I used a few different products, but all from Melt Cosmetics, and I'm just absolutely loving their stuff. I use the 27 palette. This one I picked up at Sephora. Palette looks like this, all warm tones. This just literally like screams my name. It has me written all over it, as you guys know. I also used a couple of shades from a few of these different melt stacks. I kind of went a little hog wild on their birthday and I bought like a bunch of stuff. Like I had like, I don't know, 5 or 6 big boxes that came to my door, and I got like all of these stacks, and I have a new BFF, which is Blurr from Melt. If you guys have followed me, you guys know that orange soda back in the day used to be like my thing, and then it was Bobbi Brown's Bone, and now it's Blurr from Melt. I cannot say enough about the shade. I love this. This is my new BFF right here. Let's see what else. I think that's it. That is it. Let's see what else. I feel like I'm forgetting to say something, but okay, let me just introduce myself really quickly and tell you a little bit about my channel. My name is Lauren Jade. I am 57. I have hooded eyes. They are small. They are slightly downturned. So my channel kind of focuses on ways to work with my eye shape because I cannot follow a traditional cookie cutter, one size fits all YouTube tutorial where they just go into the crease with the large fluffy brush and swashbuckle some color around, because with hooded eyes, you don't have a crease. You have a skin fold that hangs down and comes over. It's a hood. And so it's a little bit of a different animal when working with that eye shape. So that is what I do here on my channel. I try to show you guys some different tips and tricks to kind of work with that. And also some different ways of kind of blending and just kind of working with brushes, and just trying to show you guys just some tips and tricks that I have learned along the way to work with my eye shape. So yeah, I think that's it. And if you guys want to see how I got this look and learn some great, see some Melt Cosmetics in action, then just keep watching. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload. YouTube will notify you. And yeah, that is it. So without yakking anymore, let's just get into this tutorial. I went ahead and primed my eyes. I used MAC's Paint Pot and Soft Ochre, and then I lightly set this primer with just a little bit of translucent powder. And I'm just going to start out with putting in a wash of color. I'm going to bronze my crease. I'm using the Benefit Cheek Leader palette in the bronze. I got both of these. It came in the pink version, and this is the bronze version. So this is the bronze squad and the other one's the pink squad. So I'm going to take a little bit of this Hoola. I'm using an M573 from Morphe for this, and I'm just going to pat a little bit on the outer lid just to kind of dust off any excess. Sometimes I put a little bit on the back of my hand as well, but I'm going to be building some color out here, and I'm working right on my socket bone, so directly above my natural crease, which you can see is like right here, and I'm going to be directly above that. And I'm just going to take this to the inner corner, and then when I get to the inner corner, I'm going to pick up a little bit more and just kind of swirl this in the inner corner. You guys know that I like that inner corner shading. I like that Kylie Jenner effect, and this is how I get it. And I'm going to brush a little bit up towards the brow. I just feel like it really softens everything, and I just love how this looks. I'm also, while I'm here in the inner corner, I'm going to dust a little bit down on my nose contour and just kind of tie all of that together, just to soften this whole area up here. I like a little bit more of a structured inner corner because I like that really sultry fade that I get with this step, and then I like it blown out and just feathery and airbrushed towards the back. That's just how I like my eyeshadow looks. So I'm using the 27 palette from Melt. It looks like this, and I'm going to go in with this last shade right here, and this is going to be my winged liner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of use this as kind of a guide for my overall look. This is going to help to map out the shape. And I'm starting towards the end, and I'm just going to take this in the same shape that my lower lash line is, because I want everything to be lifted up. So I am getting a little bit of an elongated effect with this, but it's also because it is pulling it out. But because I'm going in alignment with my lower lash line straight up, I am getting everything to be lifted up. And this is really helping me to kind of map out this shape, because once I have this in, I can kind of see my socket line. I can see where I'm going to be placing my shadows. All right, so now I'm using a flat definer brush. This one is from Makeup Forever, and I'm just going to stamp along the root of the upper lash line and just making sure that I kind of really get it in those lashes in between there, because it will just give that thickness effect. And I go thinner, so as I get to the inner corner, the line is getting thinner. I like to keep it a little thicker out here, because that kind of creates the illusion that the eyes are not so downturned. All right, so back into this palette, I'm gonna take this shade right here. This is the third one in, it's called Nip Slip, and I'm gonna take this on a MAC 217, and I'm going to start to lightly map out this shape of the actual crease that I'm gonna be putting in. I can kind of see some definition now starting to take place. Putting in this winged liner here really kind of helps me, and it also kind of acts as another guide, which you guys know I'm all about. You know, rather than putting tape here, I now have a guideline of where I'm going to keep my shadows up, so that everything is going to be in here, and I'm not taking it past here, and I'm also not taking it any higher than here. So I have created a guide by doing this. Plus, it's also given me a little bit more shape into seeing my socket line. So now I'm going to kind of start to map out that crease and just kind of bring in some more definition. And I'm going to take this right above my natural crease, which is pretty much right on my hood, and I'm just gonna start to go kind of in a semicircle shape. I'm just mapping out this crease here. And I'm gonna take it all the way to the inner corner, and when I get to the inner corner, I'm taking it a little higher, because I'm just following my natural socket line shape and my natural socket bone. Everyone has a different socket bone, and everyone's is different, so I'm just following mine. I'm not winging this out. I'm not doing any other shape. And then I'm going to just kind of blend out the edges of that. All right, after I have whisked away the edges of that and just softened up the edges, I'm going to go back in with that first brush that I used, the M573, and a little bit more of this Hoola bronzer, and I'm just going to dust that right on top of the edge of that shade. Just going to lightly swirl that over. And I'm happy to have a new BFF. This is a Blurr from Melt. I have waited a long time to get this. I am loving all of my Melt shadows, especially my Blurr. So this is truly my new BFF, and I'm just going to swirl a little bit of that and catch the edges of those other shades that I just put in, just to keep everything light and wispy and airy out here. Yep, this is my new best friend. It used to be Orange Soda, and there was several others that I have in my Z palette, but this one is my new BFF. Now I'm going to actually put in my fake crease, and I usually always used to use an angled liner brush, but I'm switching that up now because I'm wanting kind of a little bit more of a softer look. I just have to do less blending this way, and I'm really liking it. So I'm using this MAC 144. Any kind of like a pencil brush or a really tiny small little fluff brush will work really good. I'm going to take this shade right here. This is Moxie, and this is going to be my fake crease line, and I'm going to work this directly above my natural crease, going right inside my own socket line and following the natural shape of my eye. So I'm not going to wing this out or anything. I'm just going to take this right on this hood. So now I'm looking straight ahead, and I can see this crease line, and that is what I want. I want to be able to see this when my eyes are open, so I'm going to work it right on the hood of the eye, or right on top of that skin fold. And I'm just going to lightly sort of connect it to the edge of this winged liner. It's kind of a trade-off. You don't have the super sharp, precise line that you get when you use an angled liner brush, but I do have a much softer line, so I'm able to go in and just really blend out those edges. And to do that, I'm going to take this Morphe E36. I think that's what this is. Yes, it's a really tiny, soft little pencil brush, and I'm just going to go over the edges, kind of in a little small circular motion, and just kind of soften the edge. It's just another little thing that just really kind of helps with the blending process. I'm just kind of lightly just tapping and kind of swirling. And by not using an angled liner brush, it's a lot easier to blend out that fake crease. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my, this is the 217. I was just using this one, and I'm going to go back to this shade. This is the last brush and the last shade that I used. And I'm going to go right now on top of the edge, this area right here that I just blended out. I'm going to just stipple this in, and then I'm going to lightly just kind of blend over that. All right, picking up a little bit more of my new BFF Blur from Melt. I'm going to just kind of whisk away these edges right here of all of these shades. This is the first brush that I used. And I'm also going to go right over everything, just so that everything is just nice and meshed together. Actually pick up some of these shades now and just kind of dust them along my lower lash line. All right, I'm taking the darker shades now, and I'm just stamping along the root here of this lower lash line, just getting it really, really close in here. It's kind of wiggling it back and forth. And I'm not taking it very far, maybe like less than halfway. All right, I'm gonna grab now, I need to kind of blend this out. So I'm gonna take this, one of the lighter shades in the 217, and I'm just going to smudge underneath there, just to kind of smooth it out. All right, I'm gonna kind of blend all of this out. I'm just gonna use this E36, this little pencil brush from Morphe that I have, just because it's like right here, and I'm just going to go over all of these colors that I put in, just to kind of mesh them all together. All right, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this classic shade from my Rustic Melt stack and just kind of lightly map out my lid space. I've kept everything really clean up until this point, so there's really not a whole lot of mapping out to do. I'm just gonna kind of get into position for my shimmer. All right, no, I actually started to go in to this shade right here, but that's not giving me what I want. So I'm gonna scrap that, and I'm gonna re-spritz this brush here just a tiny bit. And I think I'm gonna take this shade now. This is called Amelie from the Rustic. It's a beautiful, actually this is from, I got this as a single shadow. Sorry, this isn't in one of my stacks. It's a beautiful peachy gold, and I think this is probably what I'm gonna want. Yep, this'll work. All right, so I'm going to get this in here. And then I'm gonna grab my liner brush here real quick, and with that same crease color that I put in my fake crease, I'm just gonna go right over the edge here while it's, before it dries, so I can smooth that out. You want to try to grab it before it settles and dry. All right, I'm also going to go back to that original pencil brush and the same shade that I used to create the fake crease, and I'm just going to put that back in right over the border of the shimmer. That's just what I call it because I don't know what else to call it. It's the area where, you know, you have your shimmer and then it meets the crease. I just kind of cover that little border area with the crease color. So I love this look, but I need a little bit more pop. So I'm going to spritz a little bit of the MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this cookie highlighter from the Benefit palette, just a tiny bit. And I'm going to dust it on my inner corner and just right at the very edge. You guys know I use a lot of highlighters on my lid to get that pop. It's just kind of become a little signature look of mine. I guess we all have our signature looks. I'm just kind of putting the finishing touches up and just kind of touching up a little bit of here and there, tweaking a little bit. I really like to keep up with all of the blending as I go. I feel like that really helps give me that gradient effect where the colors are just kind of melted into each other. I don't have the patience, honestly, to sit there and do all of that blending. So I always just like apply a tiny bit of color, get that blended out, add a little bit more and blend. So it's kind of like apply, blend, apply, blend, apply, blend deal. And you guys know I've said that now for months, but that's literally like the best way for me to kind of get that gradient look where the shadows just have that melted into each other effect. I'm going to take this, this is the No Filter setting powder here in translucent from ColourPop and my little smoker. This one is the Laura Mercier one. And I'm just going to clean up out here. Make sure that my liner winged is in alignment with my lower lash line so everything is going upwards. Kind of dust out here. All right, before I go in with my setting spray, I'm going to touch up a little bit with the Benefit Bronze Squad Cheek Leader palette. I'm going to take a little bit of the Hoola bronzer here and just kind of lightly touch up. I'm going to grab my blush brush and a highlighting brush, and I'm just going to put a little bit of the Coralista blush. And who can resist some cookie? I'm telling you, these highlighters in here, I've said this and I've said this and I've said this a million times, they did not come to play. I'm going to see if the camera will pick this up here. So beautiful. All right, so now, I'm ready to set this face. I've got my fan here, and I'm using the Kylie setting spray, and I'm going to spray this way. Oh. Whew. All right. Wow. Let me grab my mirror so I can check out this look. So beautiful and so soft. You guys know I live for this type of look. All right, that's it. That completes the look. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys, and I will see you in my next one. And happy holiday, happy Memorial Day to you guys. Bye.